Hello everyone, I'm Musical Daredevil, and we have finally figured out what Mr. G and President G are up to. And it's given to us in quite a long exposition dump by Mr. Sweeney. See, Mr. G is dying from liver cancer, and he's got not very long left to live. In fact, he's overdue. What happens upon his death, however, is very interesting. All of the money that he gained from his meatpacking operation, which raided a couple times, goes into starting a new fascist world order. Wonderful. But of course, Mr. G, being the type of guy he is, couldn't just, die normally like everyone else and then just suddenly start a new fascist world order. No, he has to go out with quite a bang. And that is where President G comes in. See, President G owned the import-export firm we raided a while back, and the import-export firm was importing VX nerve gas as well as a blistering agent. The idea would be that President G would supply Mr. G with the gas and blistering agent, and Mr. G could have his awesome finale. What is he going to be doing? At a large festival in Brazil called the Festival de Unitas, he is going to release the gas and the blistering agent, and a bunch of people are going to die, and thus the new fascist order will begin. And so, of course, it's our job to go over to Brazil and save the world. Unfortunately for us, Mr. G and President G have both gone to Brazil. The lucky break is the fact that we have caught the people who were transporting the nerve gas down to Brazil at the airport on Cayman Brac. Even better is the fact that we already raided this airport on Cayman Brac a while ago, and so we just have to go there and we don't have anything to worry about other than killing everybody, so we get to be as loud as we want. And of course I'm going to abuse this fact thoroughly, because there are no hostages, no people on hairpin triggers ready to release anything. It's just us and a bunch of guys we have to kill.
There are no hostages this time, so weapons free.
Okay. At this point, you guys have seen this level already. You guys know how this works. I'm just killing a bunch of people. Nothing terribly exciting is happening. So I felt it somewhat appropriate that I would dedicate an update to the person who made all this possible, Mr. Tom Clancy. So if you want to listen to me boringly lecture on about Tom Clancy, you can just kind of, tune out what's going on here and listen to me. Or you can turn off the volume and just watch all the action on screen. So anyway, who is Tom Clancy? Tom Clancy was born in Baltimore shortly after World War II, and he studied English literature at Loyola College in Baltimore, near where he was born. Ever since he was in college, and probably a lot before that, he wanted to join up with the military, as you could probably guess from the subject matter of his books. Problem was, he failed an eye exam, so he wasn't able to join the military, and instead decided to try writing military fanfiction. The first book he wrote was Patriot Games, although the first book they actually managed to successfully publish was The Hunt for Red October back in 1984. Now, most of the books that Tom Clancy writes feature a guy called Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is originally introduced as a CIA analyst, but after a few books he becomes an advisor for the National Security Administration, and in the book Depth of Honor he becomes the president. And he remains the president through a book that I covered way back at the end of this Let's Play, Rainbow Six. Although in Rainbow Six he's not actually called up by name and instead just referred to as the President or something like that whenever John Bretling's wife Carl Bretling talks to him in various meetings. John Clark, one of the people who's actually more important in this game than the previous one, is introduced in the book The Cardinal and the Kremlin, and he's introduced as a CIA agent. And the guy I'm playing right now, Ding Chavez, is introduced in the book Clear and Present Danger, where he is rescued by John Clark and Jack Ryan. But back to Tom Clancy. In 1996, Tom Clancy founded the company Red Storm, along with a British Navy captain named Doug. They published a few games, and they sold a few. It wasn't very successful and not very well heard of.
Tango down. Alpha, go!
But in 1998, Red Storm published the game Rainbow Six, which you guys all got to see earlier on this Let's Play. And that guy has terrible accuracy.
Tango down.
Anyway, Red Storm originally thought of publishing Rainbow Six as sort of a game based on an FBI hostage rescue team, but they decided to change it to sort of an international organization, and when they found out that Tom Clancy's writing a book of a very similar nature, they changed a number of the missions in the game to sort of revolve around Tom Clancy's plot. And that is how the plot of the first game matches up with the plot of the book. An interesting thing, however, is that the book was actually published after the first game, And so a number of plot elements in the first book don't exactly match up with the first game, but that's not very important. In 2000, Ubisoft published Tom Clancy's Company, and they've been publishing games ever since that. Back in 2008, Ubisoft also purchased Tom Clancy's name. Why exactly you would do that, I'm not sure, but they did that anyway, and they're releasing a number of games and books under his name. Now, as for a whole bunch of the other books, most notably Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon, all that stuff, they sort of take place in separate universes. But in another book Tom Clancy wrote called End War, he sort of ties them all together. This is done mostly in the game version of End War by having a number of the commanding officers be from the various universes. Tom Clancy is of course still writing today, and his next book, titled Dead or Alive, is slated for release this December. And what do you know, the mission's over.
The airport is clear. I've arranged transport to Rio.
Alright guys, next up we're gonna go save the world. It's our speciality.